Welcome to Unpopped Review, movie reviews for movie lover and not a movie critic. Every once in a while you see a movie that you know you enjoyed and you know was good, but you just have a hard time describing it to others. Well, Get Out is this in a nutshell. So while it may be a little difficult to describe, I'm going to do my best to explain to you why Get Out is going to be one of the best horror movies you'll see this year. Chris is a young black man who decides to meet the parents of his white girlfriend in the middle of suburban America. At first, the parents and neighbors seem fine with the couple being together. But something just feels a little off with the neighborhood and the two black helpers that live with her parents. As always, let's start by talking about Get Out with the good. The genre. I figured I should start here since this is the part that makes it so difficult to describe. The official genres that this movie lives in is horror, mystery, thriller, and comedy. Three of those make sense, but comedy? That's just a little odd. If you watch the trailers, the only vibe you get are the horror aspects. So the main reason why I wanted to see it so bad was to find the comedy. And this is why the movie is so hard to describe, because it's about 80% horror, but there's weirdly about 20% comedy. Now it's not like Scary Movie or even Scream, so don't expect self-referential humor like you find in those. Instead, it's filled with seemingly random yet appropriate comic relief to help you relieve the tension. But what's even stranger is that I would have expected maybe the beginning to be funny, but as things got more intense, the mood would as well. I was completely wrong. The movie started out kind of serious and filled with horror tropes to build the suspense, but once the horror actually starts is where the humor begins to ramp up as well. It became so weirdly funny that by the climax of the movie, when the eventual bloody parts begin, people were literally laughing at the irony and strange natureness of the film. So while Get Out would have completely worked as a good horror movie, the humor raises it to a level that makes it oddly refreshing. While the horror and comedy elements are an interesting, refreshing part of Get Out, the cast are really who bring it all together. The way each person approaches the role is completely perfect for the story. There's not a single moment where you don't believe the emotion and situations that the actors are portraying. Even near the end when the plot is coming all together, it is just perfect. Next, let's talk about the directing and visuals. Get Out is comedian actor Jordan Peele's directorial debut. For being his first time directing, he certainly did a fantastic job. Usually a director's first movie is filled with plot holes, subpar acting, and uninteresting visuals. Get Out doesn't have any of these. In fact, some of the visuals are not only interesting, but very unique. For example, when the boyfriend finally meets the parents, usually the camera will be right up in there in all of that awkward encounter between the boyfriend and the parents. But in Get Out, the camera is placed so far back at the beginning of the driveway, and the dialogue is only barely able to be heard. Now, while this does sound a little boring and uninteresting, what it actually does is help increase the suspense. It does this by making the audience feel like they have to lean in, they have to listen closely, and they have to be able to know what's going on. It's truly a genius technique for a horror film. And with that, let's move on to the Unfortunately, I was slightly confused by the overall ending. How some of the people were acting in the beginning compared to the explanation that was given at the end didn't quite connect for me. Like, it kinda makes sense, but that's the problem, it only kind of works. So I would have either preferred a different reasoning for why they were acting the way they were, or have them act slightly differently. Now, as I'm wrapping up, I want to say that I absolutely loved Get Out. I don't completely believe that it deserves the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes that it currently has, but even then, I would recommend it. So even if you added my review, it would still get a 100. So overall, Get Out is an excellent horror mystery thriller comedy. And even though there isn't anything in the movie to make it necessary to see on the big screen, I think that this movie deserves your attention and your money, so I say to see it in theaters, and I'll give it an official 4.5 out of 5. So that's what I thought of Get Out. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and remember to always keep it unpopped.